adding artificial intelligence to the sales process. I'm Tonya Hall for ZDNet and Tech Republic, and joining me is Louis Jonckheere. He is the co-founder and chief product officer at Showpad. Welcome, Louis.
Thank you. Great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
So what does Showpad do?
So Showpad is a sales enablement platform. So this is basically a software platform that helps salespeople to be trained in a better way, to find the right information, to talk about with customers in a better way, and ultimately helps them to be much more productive, efficient, and successful when talking to customers. So that's in short what we do.
You're using AI to provide real-time sales coaching. How do you develop the underlying data set for that?
Yeah. So I think when we talk about coaching, when we talk about recommendations, there are basically two fundamental building blocks. So first of all, when we recommend salespeople which content to use or which message to share with a customer, there's first of all what we call a rule builder. So a technology that allows us to build logic, where we say, if you are a salesperson and if you're talking with, for example, a VP of marketing in a tech company that has 2,000 employees that is interested in that product, then you should talk about this specific message or share this presentation. So that is where it starts. And secondly, there are a set of algorithms we've developed, a set of AI algorithms that basically will look at that specific person you're talking to. So what are like the key characteristics, the title, any history with the customer, products they're interested in, and were there any similar conversations other salespeople had where we saw success with a message or where we saw success with a specific piece of information. So we start to crunch data that is coming from a CRM system and start to understand similar conversations and then basically see what has been successful. And that will also feed the recommendation that we give. So it's a twofold mechanism, rules and then algorithms that start to detect what has been successful in similar sales conversations.
Relationship building is a critical element in sales. How does artificial intelligence measure this? What other elements do you measure and how do you go about that?
Yeah. So I think first of all, if you talk about sales and if you talk about like sales reps, then for me, there are basically two fundamental things about what they do. There's a lot of process behind it, like filling in their CRM, like setting up the meetings, making sure you're educated about the customer, you learn what the customer cares about. And I would say in that part of their job, there's a lot of AI possible, right? A lot of recommendations, a lot of coachings, a lot of automation that can happen to make them more successful. When it comes about the second part of what salespeople, which I call engagement, which is more the emotional part, like where salespeople have conversations, where they build a relationship, like AI can definitely help, and I will share a few examples, but it's still a very human connection. I always say that computers can personalize, but humans can make it personal. Computers can predict, but humans can surprise. So there's a lot of magic towards a sales rep that I feel AI will still have to work a long time on to help them. I mean, that being said, there are tools out there that help you. So if you, for example, are having a sales conversation online with a specific customer, then there's technology out there that through NLP is able to understand emotion from your customer. When I'm talking to you or when you're talking to me, then technology can help me transcribe the voice into text, and natural language processing can then derive concepts and start to figure out what a customer is saying and then give feedback to me as a salesperson on what I should be doing. And so there's like those tools out there that help you to understand signals from your buyer in a much better way.
How does artificial intelligence measure the effectiveness of marketing and branding messages?
So I think first that there are a few things. So first of all, there's, I would say, the video which you can analyze. How do people react to messages? Like how do they smile? Do they pause? Like there's a lot of human elements to that. So that's one. Secondly, there's also the thing that they say. If they say a few times like that is super cool, this is great, well, this is really interesting for me. Like it's not that hard to build algorithms that then summarize some of the things the customer has said to conclude that they're interested in your product or that specific slide or whatever you're talking about as a salesperson. So there's that. And then I would say there's the more, I would say, big data piece, where you can just analyze a set of interactions that customers have with you as a company. If they went 22 times to the pricing page, if they open every email from a sales rep, if they look in detail to a case study that was shared with them, then we have a good sense like this customer is interested. And again, you can crunch that data to then come up with algorithms or recommendations that will help you to be more effective. So that's in short what it does.
The sales process has been around for a long time. Augmented reality is very new. How does augmented reality and 3D modeling facilitate the sales process?
It is brand new. So I would say I think with Showpad we were actually the first B2B application that started to include augmented reality in their applications. And for me, it's all about storytelling. If you look at how salespeople talk about their products, their services, their company today, in 95% of the cases, you will find a salesperson using a slide deck, like slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, tell the story. Augmented reality for me is what is the big thing after that medium. I think through augmented reality, so let's say that you're selling real physical products, like for example furniture or heavy machinery for in machine floors, that you can actually open those models in 3D, put them in a real life environment, engage with them, walk around them, zoom in, see details, and again have that next level of storytelling, because like you immerse the customer much more into the whole story. And again, instead of walking through what is most often a boring slide deck, you'll be able to tell a story in a very engaging and interactive way. So we still have a long way to go there. It's in the early days of AR, but like as this technology is improving and as it is gaining mass adoption in the next few years, like you'll see a ton of salespeople starting to use this.
How are you using analytics to measure the return on investment on some of these specific assets? And as to your point, it's very new. How are
Yep.
you measuring it?
Yeah. So a few things. So first of all, the system needs to understand, like if you're using a presentation, if you're using a video, like are you presenting it to a customer? Have you shared it with a customer? And then what is the engagement the customer has with that piece of information? So let's say, for example, that I share a case study. Through technology today, you can easily see, okay, the customer opened the email, the customer went to the link that has the PDF, and the customer actually spent 15 seconds on slide 1, 35 seconds on slide 4, and slide 4 is product A, and slide 15 is product B. And so you can start to see the interest based on the consumption people have on your content. And then you start to like match that information with the data you would get from a system like Salesforce. That then says, okay, now this customer moved from stage 3 to stage 4, or the customer signed. And then you can start to make correlations between the activity they have on the presentations or on the content and the actual closing of a deal. So there's a correlation you can bring together. And that's the first time marketers can do that, because until this point, like it's a black box, like salespeople have content. Companies spend millions of dollars on content. Now, for the first time, they're able to see the ROI of what is actually being used and how it's affecting the deals that they're working on.
Louis Jonckheere, co-founder and chief product officer at Showpad. If somebody wants to connect with you, maybe they want to find out more about your work, how can they do that?
So they can do that through email. So Louis, Louis, @showpad.com. That's the easiest.
All right. And if you guys want to find more of my interviews, you can do that right here on ZDNet or Tech Republic, or go to my website, tonyahall.net. Thanks for watching.